Right club!
By a show of hands, how many people in here have ever been married? Real quick. Okay, cool, you can put them down. I feel like unless you're married, you have never been in a successful relationship. Basically, all your relationships have been failures. Okay, real quick, how many are currently married? All right. Well, there you have it. There are some people that have found success in their relationship. But you're not off the hook. Because we've all been told that divorce ends with about 50% of people. And that's not even accounting for all those loveless marriages where one or more of the parties are secretly unhappy. Sometimes they're even openly unhappy. Ever seen one of those? I wouldn't recommend it. I've seen some openly unhappy marriages that would make Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf feel like a Charlie Brown Christmas special. You know, real hopeful. But great news, because the divorce rate is actually way down in America by like 18%. But the marriage rate is actually way down since 2008. Thanks, Black President. But even a successful relationship can turn into a failed one. So what are we doing? What is a successful relationship? What does a successful relationship look like to you? And I think that very question, therein lies the answer. One needs to identify with clarity what a successful relationship looks like to oneself. Once you know what it looks like, you can then, and only then, express it to your partner what success will look and feel like to you. And that's just called a plan. A map. You wouldn't take any other journey without having a look at a map for fear of getting lost. And folks, as your captain for the next few minutes, we are lost. Look at me. I am your captain now. We don't really know what we want, do we? We just think we know what we want. I mean, we've been programmed since we were small children telling us who we are and what we want. We're sat in front of a TV and it tells us who we are and what we want. And then a bunch of other people that have also been programmed by TV tell us who we are and what we want until we are and what we want is buried so deep to the point we wouldn't even recognize it if we were standing right underneath the noses of it the whole time like the right guy in a Hallmark movie. I think a major part of today's unhappiness is we broke up with ourselves, our true selves, our spiritual selves, that part of ourselves that literally guides us in everything and everywhere that we go. We don't trust it. We trust TV. We hear that little voice that's supposed to guide us and we ignore it. We ignore it because it frightens us. It keeps reminding us that it's never too late and that we shouldn't give up and that there's a different way and we don't always have to do the things that we've always done. Even worse, we trust Facebook more than ourselves. Like, what is Facebook even? It wasn't around 20 years ago, and now it's taken up residence in our homes, in our phones, and ultimately in our heads. And suddenly, I'm somehow convinced that I care about an old schoolmate who I wouldn't have kept in touch with otherwise' day trip to Catalina Island. And deep down, I don't care, like at all. I'm told there was a little time in history where people would go on vacation and then invite their friends over and show them a projected slideshow of their trip. I don't know because I'm really young. Can you imagine now getting in your car and driving someone to your house or driving to someone's house to look at a slideshow of their day trip to Catalina, complete with pictures of wine glasses being hoisted up to the sunset, and of course, what they ate. Oh yes, what they ate. Listen, I don't ever want to see a picture of food unless it's like a work of art. But people be posting pictures of a bowl of SpaghettiOs and a buttered piece of bread talking about hashtag dinner is served. No! Don't post that. It's incredibly depressing. But that's what Facebook is now, folks. Chef Boyardee. And trust me, that's the best it's gonna get. It ain't getting any better than that. I recently seen a post of an ex-girlfriend that I was back with when I was a teenager, which wasn't that long ago because I'm very young. And the post was a little sad in an existential kind of way because after all these years, I could see that she was still the same person. She really hadn't grown or evolved as a person very much. And then I remembered that's the reason we broke up in the first place. At the time, we believed that we were just growing in two different directions. But now I realize maybe she was already done growing. See, I have a theory that we all simply stop growing at a certain point. Some people stop growing at 12 years old, and some adults still act like they're 16. Some stop at 25, some at 50, some at 70. And I believe it has a lot to do with perspective. For example, some people believe the best time of their lives were in high school, and it won't get any better than that. So they lock themselves in a cycle of trying to rekindle the flame and the light they felt at that age. While others believe the best is yet to come. And the most optimal among us believe the present is where all the living should happen. So here's my advice. Break up with expectation. Don't worry about how things are going to turn out. Do the work, but leave the rest to God. Leave the results to God. More people worry than work. But we don't get to choose how things are going to turn out. We only are in charge of the actual work. We are the stewards of the process. That's all. Once we break up with the expectation of what we've been programmed with and programmed to expect, to think things in the way they should turn out, things actually get pretty good. It's when we really begin to understand the meaning of life and don't ask what the meaning of life is, okay? Because asking what the meaning of life is the wrong question to the actual answer you're looking for. Asking what the meaning of life is like, what's the meaning of this delicious meal that lies before me? Just enjoy before it gets cold, baby.